morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. Oh my goodness, yes. It is that way. Why? Because I make it so the same way that you can. Remember, you always have a choice. Everything is fundamentally meaningless. And with the choice that you have this ability to give meaning to that which is fundamentally meaningless. Now, let's just sit in that for just a moment. I love thinking about that beautiful line from Tony Robbins, and where he talks about how your reality has nothing to do with the facts. It has nothing to do with what's happening in your life. It has to do with the meanings that you give those facts. That's what determines your reality. That's what determines the vibratory state you're in. That's what determines what you're attracted to, what's attracted to you, what you're repelled by, what's repelled by you. And all of it starts where? In the mind. It starts in your marvelous, beautiful mind. It's all based from the narrative that's happening inside. You can think of it this way: your outer world is a reflection of what's happening in your inner world. See, as within, so without. As you thinketh in your heart, so are you. So are the results of your life. So is how much you earn, what you do for work, your lifestyle. So is all of that. And if you want to change all of that, meaning how much you earn, what you do for work, your lifestyle, all of that stuff on the outside, guess what you've got to change first? What's on the inside. See, that's where all the magic happens. That's where all the transformation begins. And I know that many of you, as you're looking at your life right now, you're wanting to make a big change. You're wanting to make a big change out there. Maybe you're wanting to earn a lot more income. Maybe you're wanting to change your lifestyle. Maybe you're wanting to travel more. I don't know what it is for you. The point being, though, is if you want to make those changes in your outer world, you must first change what's happening in your inner world. It's exactly as what Robert Collier shared in Secret of the Ages. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite book. This chapter on primal cause, where he talks about the secret of all power, all success, all riches, and how the secret of all power, all success, all riches is in first thinking powerful thoughts, successful thoughts, thoughts of wealth, of supply. See, we must build it in our own mind first. And what is it that starts in your mind first? See, that's your imagination. And that's what we talk about here in these wonderful, beautiful Master Your Mind study calls. We dive into the principles, we dive into depth, we dive into understanding who we are and how our marvelous, miraculous, incredible, powerful mind works, which works according to law. And when there's an understanding like that in you, guess what changes? Your results. A lot of the weight gets removed from your shoulders. And next thing you know is, wow, things are changing, and they're changing beautifully. Why? Because you made beautiful changes inside. You know, I was going through one of my favorite books here, and this is from James Allen. And he wrote this book called As a Man Thinketh. But there's another book called Out from the Heart. And I was just reading these opening paragraphs from this, and I want you to really grab onto this, but most importantly, use it. And then from there, we'll dive into the book that we've been studying. But listen to what he says here. This is amazing. This is The Heart and the Life. And again, this is from James Allen's masterpiece, Out from the Heart. He says, as the heart, so is the life. As you thinketh in your heart, so are you, so are the results of your life. He says, the within is ceaselessly becoming the without. Nothing remains unrevealed. Nothing. Everything eventually shows up in outcomes based from what's happening inside. That which is hidden but for a time, it ripens and comes forth at last. It shows up. Seed, tree, blossom, fruit is the fourfold order of the universe. How many times have you heard me say that? Well, this is where I got it from. From the state of a man's heart proceeds the conditions of his life. From the state of your heart proceeds the conditions of your life. His thoughts blossom into deeds, and his deeds bear the fruitage of character and divinity and destiny. Life is ever unfolding from within and revealing itself to the light, and thoughts engendered in the heart at last reveal themselves in words, actions, and things accomplished. See, it starts here inside in the mind, not your brain. Many people think your brain's their mind. It's not. This brain is an electronic switching station. It's an instrument of your mind. With that being said, it all starts in the mind. And you know what's beautiful in this book that we've been studying here in the Master Key System by Charles Haanel, he actually talked a little bit about what James Allen said from understanding what the laws are. And he talks about the law of attraction. Many of us have heard about the law of attraction. And if you have been studying the law of attraction, I'm going to say this: stop studying the law of attraction. Instead, study what attraction is dependent on. Well, anyways, Charles Haanel talked about how attraction is dependent on vibration. See, it's the vibratory state you're in that deals with, the states you're in, and it determines what's attracted to you, what you're attracted to. But then he goes further and says that vibration is dependent on the law of love. Isn't that interesting? That's what James Allen was talking about here. The law of love, what is that you are connected with. And again, that's really important. And you can tie it specifically to achieving this, whatever this is for you. Say, like you've written down your goal and you've written it down and you wrote it. Well, remember, you've got to understand this. You don't manifest what you write down on a goal card. You don't even manifest what you put on a vision board. You don't manifest even affirmations. What you manifest is how you feel about this. See, what's being shared here is that if you want this to happen, you must fall in love with the idea. You must become one with it. You must place it here and connect with it and be loyal to this unseen reality. And from there, guess what? All the plots, plans, dramas, and situations will unfold right before your eyes. It'll be like magic, like that song by America. You can do magic. You know that song? It's a great song. So anyways, grab onto that. But most importantly, use it. Use it and apply it in your life. Okay, so let's go into this. And by the way, if you don't have a copy of this called the Master Key System, make sure you do get a copy of it. If you want to follow along word for word, then get this copy and then underline it, highlight it. Yes, memorize it, but most importantly, use it in your life. All right, ready to go? Let's go. Let's do this. Here we go. Now, here we got some beautiful truth that we went over before, and we're talking about will. True will is just holding the image. But here, many people think that they can force something to happen and try to coerce the universal. But you know what? That doesn't work. It doesn't work at all whatsoever when it comes to working with these laws, because the law is immovable. It gets enforced regardless of your knowledge or ignorance of it. With this being said, remember, it's you, the individual, that gets to think however you want to think. And the universal moves to and through the individual based from how they are thinking, which then goes into outcomes or results. Now, it is the individual attempting to coerce the universal, the finite, in conflict with the infinite. Isn't that interesting how that's the battle that we're dealing with? We have this finite way of thinking, and we're dealing with something that's infinite, that has everything. Our permanent well-being will be best conserved by a conscious cooperation with the continuous forward movement of the great whole. Now, let's tap into what he's really talking about here. Let's read between the lines here. When you think of the universal, the biggest thing that you've got to think of when it comes to what's being shared here is that it has all of it. Everything's there. It's all encompassing. It's omnipresent. It's omnipotent, and it has all the answers. Bob Proctor would say this: God, the universe, knows better than you how to get to where you want to be. Okay. When you want something, when you want to do something that you've never done, you have to discover the path. And the universe is what reveals all of it. With that being said, it's important for you to work with that, not to work against it, not try to coerce it into doing something based from your finite way of thinking. It's like learning how to sail. Think about sailing. Okay. You can fight the wind and waves and exhaust yourself trying to battle against the wind. But when you align with the wind and use the wind, what happens? Whoo, you start flying on the water, that is. The whole point being is use the law, use the universe according to that law. There's a wonderful book by Raymond Hollywell called Working with the Law, which is amazing and incredible. And it's so magnificent. But anyways, again, really grab on to what's being said here. It's something that you can use for you in your life. Now, before we go further, for those of you who are watching this live stream, if you'd like to tap into this and watch the rest of these calls and to enrich your beautiful mind, then go to elevitality.com and register for